Hey everybody, it's Peter, and in this video we're going to do a complete in-depth review of the 2022 Nissan Sentra. This is an SR model, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't spent a ton of time with these cars in the past. It kind of impressed me, especially this trim line. So here's how this works. I'm going to give you as best of an in-depth review as I can. And it's very, very cold, so we're doing some in-car stuff for sure. But if there's something that I missed today, make sure you let me know in the comments below. So subscribe and let me know in the comments below what you want to know about this car, or maybe what you want to compare it to, or questions that you have about it, because here's the amazing thing. I'm here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and they give me complete access to their entire vehicle line, so I can make sure that I can come back to vehicles like this and answer your questions in detail. So we want to thank them for the access. Let's get going with the review. So the Nissan Sentra was always the economy car, kind of basic car in the lineup. And for a while, I remember when these Sentras were for sale as some of the cheapest cars you could buy in Canada. Time has moved on, the Versa stepped underneath and took sort of that role of a less expensive car. And really, when you remember the time the Maxima first came out and became a really popular car in Nissan's lineup, that car was probably smaller than this car. So it's really grown up in a lot of ways. And this particular Sentra I quite like, because on the outside you can see it looks like a top line version. It's got these large, I believe, 18-inch wheels. Let me just double check, because now that I said it, we gotta know for sure. Yes, 18-inch wheels. They've got the dark rims, the two-tone sort of exterior, lots of chrome trim here. It looks like a top-end version, but in reality, it's kind of a midline. And when you choose a midline vehicle, whoever makes those decisions about what needs to go in it, they need to choose which pieces and parts matter to hit that price point and which don't. And I think they kind of did it. They kind of nailed it with this car and got it really well done. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a little bit of trunk, a little bit of the back seat, and then we're going to go through some of the driver's environment to show you some of those tech items and safety items that they included in this car. And while I'm here, I should point out, this car's fun to drive. It's a manual transmission. Not many of those left in the world anymore. Let's start with taking a look at the cargo area. The back end of the Sentra is fairly squared off. The rear seats, they're not here, they're way over here. So you do have some good depth here. And one thing to remember with these trunks is, in a sedan, is your entrance is smaller than in a typical SUV, but your floor is often longer. So if you have a lot of items you need to carry in this vehicle, I can't even touch the back end. So nice long floor here. You do have the arms to contend with when they come in to crush your luggage. That's sort of par for the class here. They can come in a little bit, but a very large opening with not a whole lot of intrusions and pretty good. No underfloor storage in this vehicle really to speak of, just a little bit of a spare tire down there. But again, good size, and really, like I said, when you're comparing to an SUV, a pretty good floor length there to fit your stuff in. When we talk rear seat space, there's a couple things to look for. First of all, is the roof too low for me to get in? Well, I'm about 6 feet tall, and that is not a problem. The second thing we're gonna look for is, how do my legs fit with a 6-footer in front of me? So I'm about 6 feet tall, and you can see pretty good space here. The seat is a little lower than in some SUVs. I'd like to have my legs a little bit more on the seat, but it's pretty good and pretty comfortable back here. And to be honest, like arm room, everything else around here feels pretty good. Even though this roof line comes in and from your angle, it looks like it's kind of in my head there, I've still got easily a hand width above me here. So, you know, a gloved hand width above me for headroom. So quite comfortable back here, works very well. Only a single USB port in the center and a pocket on the right side, but no pocket on this side, but there is nice carve outs for the seats in here. Let's take the camera and show you inside. All right, full winter coat, because it's still kind of cold in here right now. What you've got here, again, headroom decent, not sort of class leading, but certainly comfortable for me. One interesting thing is the map light up here, or the regular light, instead of being in the center of the car, sort of further up, they have it back here above your passengers, and you can turn on just one side or just the other. They're not aimed like map lights so much, but they do have the ability to turn on one side or the other. The other thing, again, we take a look at myself down here again, you've got cup holders in the armrest. Armrest is sort of appropriately placed. And again, the carve outs in the door here are very good for my width. Like I said, like to see a pocket in the back of the driver's seat as well as the passenger. And the only vents back here on this trim level are going to be underneath the seat. So no upper vents that you can sort of aim towards yourself. You're just going to have it coming through on the floor, which is plenty for heat, because most of the time the heat in vehicles starts down low anyways, especially in this vehicle, which has automatic climate control, which we're going to talk about in a second. But very good, very comfortable space back here. And yeah, I could certainly sit here for a long trip. Now let's take a look at the driver's environment. But before we do, let's show you the key. All right, I gotta give full credit to Nissan here because their key fobs are not very large. They're just nice and small, compact, nice proper shape to fit in your pocket, and I appreciate that. I have a Jeep Wrangler 4xe, and my Jeep Wrangler key fob is massive for no reason. It just takes up space in my pocket. It does not make me feel more manly or anything else. One thing that's kind of cool here is you do have the body color door handles, but not many manufacturers at this trim level or at this price point offer the buttons on the key on the door handles as body color, and this one is body color. You can see this paint color here, really nice metallic in the sunshine. It's not showing as well on camera as I'd like it to, but again, you can sort of see a little bit of that metallic. Very nice. Let's hop in here now. All right, first of all, you've got a cloth style seat, and it does have the accent stitching there, and I want to talk about these seats as we jump in, so let me do that. The first thing you're going to find with these seats is they are quite comfortable. Now, one thing that's a little bit different in the class, and I'm going to show it to you a second when I flip the camera around, is there is a softness to the initial feeling of these seats, but still a firmness to the seat. So I'll try to explain what that means, but as a 6-footer here, you can see I've got good headroom. The seat is height adjustable, so I can bring it down quite a bit further. I can bring it up quite a bit further. It's quite comfortable sort of where it is. You've got tilt telescopic steering wheel as well, so you can really get comfortable whether you're shorter or taller, or if you're sharing this car with someone else, it's not a problem. But let me show you what I'm talking about with the seats now. All right, just off camera below here, I've got some extra junk there, but that's okay. We're gonna show you. This is like a felt style, suede style seat, but it is definitely not suede. But you can almost see here, there's a cushiness to the initial layer of the seat. So the support is firm, but the overall feel is that there's a little more softness on the sort of upper layer of the seats, and I think that makes it quite comfortable. It's not going to be for everybody. Some people want that firmness everywhere, but I think it makes it quite comfortable. And again, the texture of the seat, that suede type look there, gives you some nice grippiness to the seat when you're driving athletically. It just kind of holds you in the seat. They're bolstered well, but they're not over bolstered. It's not a pure performance car, but it does have a sporty feel. Speaking of a sporty feel, check this out. Manual transmission. It is a 6-speed manual. You can see right there with the reverse up and to the left here, and you can just pull the collar up there. One thing I really appreciate about what they've done here is they have a start-stop button. This is to turn the car on and off, down by the gear shifter. And this makes sense rather than burying it behind the wheel where you really can't see it back there. So hop in the car. We're going to start it up like that. Clutch in. It's in neutral already, so we're good to go. We're going to leave the parking brake on. We're going to let it run for a little bit here, mostly because I'm cold, but also because the heated seats, the rump roasters as I like to call them, even though the button is not a hold down type button, it was left on by me and it does turn on again. The heated steering wheel does not come on. So what you have here is a button that will stay on in the winter when you turn the car off, and it will turn on. And I'm going to tell you when I start to feel that seat warming up as we go through here, because with these cloth style seats, they warm up quicker than leather. We'll talk about the climate control in a second here, but let's take a look at the dash over here. Some nice things here. You've got a 7-inch display screen over here, color display screen with really good resolution. And again, I'm on a wide angle camera, so everything looks further away, a little bit wider. And then you've got an 8-inch screen over here. We'll talk about that one in a second, but check out some of the details here. This one here, actually, let's just zoom in for a second. There we go. You've got, sort of this is your standard control system here. So you've got your speedometer right there with your radio, and then you've got your speedometer with your average speed, and then you've got a blank screen. So we're going to leave it back on speedometer. Over here, you've got average fuel efficiency. We can talk about that in a future thing. Again, any vehicle sitting at a dealership, average fuel efficiency, don't pay attention to some of those things. They idle a little bit more at a dealership. Tire pressure, we're going to have to drive to get them to display, but you do have tire pressure monitors in this car, which is nice to see. Trip computer there, and a speed limit sign. Now this car does not have navigation, so generally speaking in this class of vehicle, what they do is they have a camera. Let me just go wide angle again, up over here, and that's used for many different things. We're going to talk about that in a second, but it looks out in front of the car, and that is likely what's going to display your speed limit sign. It reads it for you, so you can have it set up and sort of know your speed limit for the roads that you're on. So again, just some extra technology in here. Talk about safety. We're going to leave that back up top. Then you go through here, you got your AM, FM, stereo, all that kind of thing. Blind spot detection is in this car, forward collision warning, lane warning, all kinds of stuff there. This is sort of a menu that kind of gives you everything, and you can also cycle down here. You also have a smart cruise control. Now, some of these safety items have a radar plate in the front, and on this car, it's actually the The radar plate is actually the logo, so it's a sort of stylized in, and that works in conjunction with this camera up here to give you a number of safety features, things like forward collision avoidance, those kind of things. So the idea is this car is capable of stopping itself in a situation where it may need to. Now, never test that because nothing is foolproof, and to be honest, it's not always designed to work every time, but the idea is this is capable to prevent or at least minimize a collision going forward, and it has the same thing in reverse if it senses things behind you. And then again, the blind spot detection. So you've got those cameras, you've got the blind spot detection, you've got all those safety type features. The other thing that that radar plate gives you is this smart cruise control. So it gives you, or they call it intelligent cruise control in this one. We don't use smart, we use intelligent. Everything in Nissan is intelligent. But the intelligent cruise control allows you to keep its distance between you and the car in front of you. Again, it uses some of those radar type systems. So a lot of the hardware pieces, things like radar systems, cameras, those kind of things are used for multiple type things. And for instance, the blind spot detection in this car, it uses a radar at the back of the car to sense if something's in your blind spot. You have a little light that lights up over here if somebody's in your blind spot, so that's good. But if I throw this car into reverse, it'll also give me what they call rear cross traffic alert. So we'll throw it in reverse for a second. There's nobody gonna cross my path, but if I'm looking at the camera, I can't see someone crossing my path, this car could warn me of that, and it actually has the ability to stop itself if someone was gonna cross your path and you were to put yourself in danger. So again, never rely on those, but if you are, not paying the attention that you should pay, this car has the capability of getting some of those things out of the way. The overall feel here is of a very high quality car. Oh, I mentioned I was gonna tell you when that seat was warm. Oh, it's hot now. Like, it's very warm. I forgot to tell you when I started to feel it. It is fully warm now. But the overall feel of this car, you've got that stitching through here, you got the leather seat or leather steering wheel here, which feels really sharp. You also have a dual zone climate control system here, so you can set passenger and driver to different temperatures and just make sure that you're comfortable. Of course, the front heated seats as well. The feel of this car is that you have sort of all the luxuries you need, and certainly all the safety features you need, and you still don't have it everything. This has got a 6-speaker stereo. The upper trim levels have more speakers and that kind of thing, but this stereo sounds very, very good. You can look at some of the settings in here. You can change all these things. You can customize the home menu and change this car around. So you've got good technology here. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is also included on this big 8-inch color display screen. You are seeing some reflection here that I don't see. So when you film something with one eye on the camera, as opposed to 2 eyes that you have, you don't see some of these reflections the way I do. My eyes can focus a little bit better on it than this camera can, but just very good overall quality feel here, even though it's not a top line model, and that really talks about value. Coming down here, we talk about Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. I believe on this car it's wired and not wireless, and that's okay. USB port there, USB-C port down here, and then the auxiliary port, and then a 12-volt port as well. So trying to get some focus in there, having a little trouble there. But you've got enough space to put a phone in there as well, and a small armrest here where you can put your phone in there as well. You've got the square cup holder, so they can hold a little different size things in there. And again, this is not carbon fiber, but it's a artificial carbon fiber. And even look at the doors here. Quality is absolutely there, and the feeling of, upper class. So you've got the soft touch there, but you've also got the soft touch on the side here with the leather or leather-like panels there. So very good overall quality here that I'm really impressed with. A couple things I didn't point out earlier when I was looking at myself here. Headroom we talked about is fine. You do have that sunroof above you on this trim, and again with that black roof, that two-tone car with the black roof, that sunroof kind of blends into the overall styling of the car. It's really quite nice. And over here, a lot of cars are doing away with some of these sunglasses holders up front because they're putting some safety equipment and some computer bits in there. I don't know, they're computer bits. There's stuff up there. Technology is up there, and you don't always see the you don't always have this space anymore, so you still got the sunglasses holder there. Again, well thought out, well equipped vehicle, especially for the price point. Couple things I didn't mention earlier in my review. Very good lights up here, top and bottom. I believe they appear to be LED lights, top and bottom, so you've got that. And you also have the rear parking beepers, those beepers in addition to your backup camera that allow you to see behind you. So let's talk about who this car is for. Obviously, economy car, that's what you're looking for. Now again, with that available manual transmission and this trim package with these wheels and tires, this is a fairly sporty car. Now it hasn't got a whole bunch more horsepower in that 147, just around 150, just under 150 horsepower or so. This car is kind of class competitive as far as the way the powertrain works. It does have an eco button, which will allow some eco type settings, and you can even customize some of the settings on that eco button, which makes it kind of nice to customize the settings. Usually an eco button adjusts your transmission shift points, but of course you can do that on your own with the manual transmission. So it allows you to sort of choose how you want to do that. So first of all, as an economy car, this is really what this is. It also feels like a larger car inside. It has some presence to it. The visual look of it has a bit larger car. It doesn't look like a cheap, inexpensive car, and I think that's kind of the point. If you want a really safe car that's fun to drive, but still gives you great economy, this is a car that needs to be on your list. Now, what other cars should be on your list? Well, that's the beautiful thing about Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. You can compare this car to all kinds of its competitors right here on the lot. And when you're talking to the sales team here, they can compare numbers, and you know you're talking apples to apples, and it doesn't matter to them which brand of car you buy. They can make sure that you buy the best car for you. So I really want to thank Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals for giving me access to their car line. And if you have questions about this car, other cars in its class, maybe something you want to see this up against, or another review of this or a competitor, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit subscribe, and we'll make sure we get it on video for you. Thanks for watching.